Hi there, and welcome to another exciting edition of United and Everything Football Podcast. It's great to have you every single time. My name is Kwame Amin Bako. I'm here with Kwame Ntrubwesi. And joining us today is Michael Akumia, the Messiah. Great to have him back on the podcast. Here to talk about the most important set of games, two most important set of games. I'll start with the first leg for Manchester United in the 2024, 2025, 2026, 2024, 2025 season. The most important.
How did you be confused?
Important game. But guys, it's great to have you on the podcast. So great to have you on the podcast. Akomia?
Always a pleasure to
Yes. Kwame and Kwame, the Kwame Square. Yeah. Doctor is looking more like he has now moved from Patrick Dogu to Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
I've had so many looks this year. So many.
I just saw Kawawa for Patrick Dogu for Kwade.
He says he limits his bias to only sportsmen and not other professions. So I've been left off the hook.
Oh yes.
Guys, how have you been? How have you guys been?
Doing good.
It's been good, bad, ugly.
I went to.
Yes.
I went to predict on Twitter that Arsenal will win 2-1, even when they were down.
They will kill you today. Tomorrow, if Barcelona wins against you, can bet on Twitter, I have to log out.
Football heritage would never ever allow Arsenal to win. See, when I saw that banner, when I saw that tifo, I knew that
started laughing.
The ugliest, worst tifo I've ever seen in my life. But who can blame them? They have no European trophies, so that's the best they can come up with.
Anyway, all right.
Football heritage.
Anyway, guys, you know what to do. Remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and also leave a comment. Please pause the video. Yes, pause it now. Hit the likes. Very, very important. Hit the like for us. All right. Thank you very much for being a part of the podcast. Let's make a quick turnaround. When I come back, we'll have a few things to talk about. Probably start from the game against Bournemouth. Then we'll zero down to the most important game of the season against Athletic Bilbao here on United and Everything Football. We'll be right back after this. All right, thank you very much. Great to have you on the podcast. Always exciting to come your way. The way you feel so happy having us in your homes, we are all happy to always come into your homes. Your comments always, makes us happy. We always enjoy it. There's never been a dull moment being with you guys. So thank you so much. We really appreciate your time with us here on this podcast. Although United have been all sorts of useless, we haven't been useless ourselves. We've been supporting them, regardless of how useless they are. Anyway, Akomia, let me start with you. The useless team were in action at the Vitality. And some way, somehow, Amorim avoided a six back-to-back wins in this Premier losses in this current Premier League season. But what did you make of that game? What are you thinking watching that game?
Kwame, to be very honest, I didn't really watch the full game against Bournemouth. I was rather watching Inter Milan versus Roma because I always knew what was going to happen in the United game. So more or less, there was no reason to spend much time watching the full game. But definitely, because of the job we do, I had to take another look at the full game again. Normally in the evenings or during the nights, I try to look through certain games that have already been played. Key moments, understand what happened at certain moments, some decisions that were taken, so that I could build a point from it. But what I realized from this particular United team is three things. One, I believe Ruben Amorim and the way he set up this particular team, I think he has already given up on the league. And more or less, his in-game management at certain points of the game will need to improve. Which I definitely feel that certain decisions and key roles he gives to certain players, which does not really fit these players, should not be given to them. And it really hurts. And at the long run, it's Manchester United that suffers these kind of draws and losses that comes around with it. Number two, I think we are too wasteful in front of goal. And I've always said, Garnacho's cousin is Martinelli. Both of them, they play together, they smile together, they laugh together, they bath together, in the same shape of thinking and how they are supposed to execute their roles in front of goal. And I strongly believe that age shouldn't be a factor in arguing for Garnacho as at this stage. I know different players develop at different levels, but when you're playing for top clubs at this age, expectations move to different levels. For example, you can't be 17 or 18 years playing for Barcelona and you think you'll be pardoned for mistakes. You can't be 17 or 18 playing for Real Madrid and you'll be pardoned for mistakes. We are such a big club that we need to start making sure that these young guys accept responsibility, know the kind of club they are playing for, the level and the standard that is demanded from every single player within the squad. He should not forget that the likes of Paul Scholes, Phil Neville, most of these guys that came from class of 92 were young, and these guys played a crucial role in Manchester United winning the treble in 1999. These guys became the stalwart of this particular team from even the early 2000s coming forward, despite their age. So you look at Garnacho, and when people make excuses for him, we might just also end up like Adnan Januzaj in this particular team, hype him, do unnecessary stuff. Even Januzaj was scoring more goals than what Garnacho is doing. And I think we should not be so much enthused about his pace, directness, and how he positions himself in crucial stages. In football, it's all about assist and goal when you are a forward, especially when you are playing as a number 10 in this particular setup. You need to start delivering assists. You need to start scoring a lot of goals, and he needs to do a lot. Rasmus Højlund, enough said about him. I think we have not also been fair to the guy, not because that we criticize him so much, but where we are unfair to him is we were wrong to even bring him to the club in the first place. The club was never his standard to even come and play for, to be very honest with you. And I strongly believe he has come at a time where expectations and a lot of things doesn't actually match his standards. And this is what I'm saying because he's not a bad player. I've seen him play for Atlanta. I've seen him play for Denmark. I'm not saying he's one of the worst players we've ever seen playing for Manchester United, but I strongly believe that within this system, within the club, the expectations and everything, it just don't align. He's just not fit for Manchester United. He just can't be Manchester United centre forward. No, he's not even meant to be a Manchester United centre forward. Because I've seen strikers time and over again that even Odion Ighalo was not as bad as how Rasmus Højlund is actually playing at this club. And we did not even accept Odion Ighalo at Manchester United at a certain point in time until we started scoring 1 or 2 or 3 goals, helping us also get to crucial stages in the European competitions and even in the league positions. So this is something he needs to look at it himself and try to better himself. So we squander all of these things. And the third point I would say is, I think if you take Bruno out of this team, the attitude of some key players within the team is quite questionable. Like they've already given up on the league and they are actually fighting for the Europa League. That will also make me come on the Europa League when you come back again and ask me a question about Bilbao and Manchester United games. But I think Ruben Amorim is there to be blamed for the kind of results we are getting in the league. I think some poor decisions, some poor approach and systems in this particular against some particular teams. Then you look at squandering chances by our forwards, and I actually believe most of them are not the standard of United. If not the standard, doesn't mean we should start all of them. Most of them can even stay, but they are not a standard enough to be starting games for Manchester United. At least from the bench, they could come in, they could be squad players to help us in the long run. But right now, you need players that could start up and get you there. So I think the mentality of some of these players is that the league is already done. No matter what happens in the 14th or 15th position, some of them even know that they are leaving the club after the season. So attitude-wise and a lot of things, they don't even care.
Let me be honest. I was watching the game and with my sisters, like they were not even watching; they were doing other things. And so after the first half, I just stopped and went to join them to do whatever they were doing. I was helping them to do something on their CV. So I was just
Doc there. He will tell you that he has grown to a certain standard where he doesn't even care about the results. He doesn't care.
He actually cares. I
do care. The thing is, I've reached the point of acceptance that you see, sometimes you want an X factor, right? When you know your squad isn't good, your team isn't good, at least you want the team to be managed well. I don't think you're being managed well, and that's my disappointment.
Oh yes,
I don't think you're being managed well at all.
I agree.
And when you say it, some people have a go at you. I mean, every single Manchester United fan spends time before games and during games questioning some of our players, insulting some of our players, giving it to our players. We know our players aren't like wealthy players. Most of them are not good enough. Most of them shouldn't be starting for Manchester United, like you've correctly analyzed. But when that is the case, at least you'd want your coach to be able to coach the team better. I know
Yes.
it's difficult for us to score goals because we lack quality going forward. But how can we concede goals at such regularity? 54 goals conceded since Amorim took over. If you are not scoring, why can't you stop us from conceding?
At least
At least
Yeah.
be
formation
tight.
playing that shows which have 5 players at the back protecting goal.
Exactly. But I've never
Yeah, it's
ever seen
strange.
a
It's
3 or
strange.
5 back system where we are so porous and we
And
concede the
OP
same
like
type
that.
of goals. It's terrible. That's my disappointment. And I would never ever stop saying it until things improve. No one can gag me from saying it. He hasn't done well as a Manchester United coach so far. And when people keep on saying, oh, it looks like we are focusing on the Europa League. Okay, so if we lose the Europa League in the next 7 days, we lose these 2 games. How would you then judge Amorim's 6 months at a football club?
Hmm.
Do you get my point? Like, think about
Yeah.
it in perspective. And I don't want us to jump to the fixture now. I just want to conclude on the Bournemouth game. He started the strongest team possible, and I predicted he would start his strongest team possible because it was the most common sense thing to do. This team hasn't got any momentum or whatsoever. There's nothing clicking.
No.
So he was hoping
See.
that by starting this team against a team that he claimed it's quite similar in how they are set up to Bilbao because their manager is Basque and all that, we could get something, a positive result, a positive outcome. At the end of the day, the only positive thing you can take from it is that at least Rasmus Højlund scored a goal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Kwame, me, I've told you it's not something I'm going to be hopeful about him going on a run. No. But the thing is, we need our striker to be able to get us a goal at a point, a crucial goal at a point. So the only positive thing you can take from this is at least the ball went into the back of the net for him. Ruben Amorim will take an iota of confidence from that. He'll just take anything right now. If it can boost his center forward to be able to do something for him in these next 2 games, he'll take it. So that's the only positive I'll take. Aside that, it's just the same old, same old. We are not properly set up. We don't defend properly. We don't attack properly. We don't play out of the back properly. I can't point a finger at one good thing that we are good at doing consistently. You see some things in spells, and then fans hang on to that thinking that, oh, this is what the future holds. No, I've not seen anything. I've not seen anything concrete. Let me be very specific. Nothing concrete so far. And don't give me, oh, these players are absolutely shit. That's why. I will continue to say it. I have seen managers come into the league, coach West teams better. Let me give you the stats. You know the Wolves manager, right? Is it Pereira?
Vitor Pereira or something.
He was 18 points behind Ruben Amorim. They were appointed the same week. I think Pereira came just a few days after he was appointed. He was 18 points behind him. Wolves have won 6 games in a row. Wolves are ahead of Manchester United. How do you look at the flip? 18 points, the swing. And you can't tell me that 5 or 6 months ago, anybody would have said with his chest that Wolves have a better team than that Manchester United squad. Nobody would have said that. They were terrible. They were horrible. They couldn't buy a win. They were just being run over by every other team. They were even fighting themselves. If you can remember,
They were part of. They were in a relegation dog fight as well.
They were literally fighting themselves, throwing blows at the end of games, all those kind of things. And yet, another Portuguese manager who plays a very similar system to yours has been able to galvanize them, not just get a bounce, but be consistent with them, so much so that they come to pass you. And then a double over you on top of that. Let's not hide it. He hasn't done well. He hasn't. There's no shame in saying it.
And he admits it. He himself admits it.
That's my point. See, the manager will come and stand there and say what I would say, and people would get upset because I'm saying it. He himself says he's not done well. He himself says he's been making mistakes. He himself says he's made some decisions that he wish he hadn't made over the past 6 months. He is going to get a transfer window. he's going to get time. He better not mess next season up, because I don't think I have it in me to even tolerate a couple of months of this same form next season, irrespective of the squad that we have next season.
Anyway, let's quickly switch to that game against Bilbao. The recent memory of the game against Bilbao is what's his name?
Should I give you the stats? United versus Bilbao.
No, I have to remind myself of that last game, that last set of games we played with them before you give me the stats. Ike Munai, the likes my
yeah, they beat us home and away.
They beat
Ike Munai.
and the likes. And what's his name? Marcelo Bielsa. Charlie.
Come and see Under Herrera.
They came to run rings around us at Old Trafford, and then they finished us in Spain.
But this is going to be a very different Athletic Bilbao team. I mean, in terms of the way they play, absolutely different. Ernesto Valverde, you know him. Sometimes you wonder whether he's a typical Spanish manager. Spanish manager, you would expect that they play some tiki-taka here and there. But this man, the counter-attacking and defending. Before Kwame comes in with a start, what's your thoughts generally on this game? Let's zoom straight into that. Let me be honest with you and everyone. I'm not hopeful. I'm not hopeful.
I'm using your words. I'm not hopeful too. It's kind of a little bit disappointing when you feel Manchester United and Bilbao at such a stage when it comes to the Europa League. Manchester United should be the favorite among the two of them, try and get a win at the end of the day, and it's not supposed to be like that. It hurts, but I would say I'm not hopeful at all. Kwame, I'm not hopeful at all. You look at the Bilbao team; they are not extravagant in possession. Let me be very honest. I've watched their games.
Very true.
They are not fully convincing. But the question here is, we don't even know the Manchester United that will turn up.
Oh, we do. Why is talking as if you don't know the match? It's the same Manchester United.
The reason why I'm saying that is, I saw a different United turn up in Sociedad. I saw a different United. If you take individual errors from some of the games from Sociedad away, then against Olympique Lyonnais away, I think we're not that bad, especially in those two games, as compared to the kind of games we watch in the Premier League prior to such games. I think there was a level of improvement in those two games away. But you look at Olympique Lyonnais at home, score 2 goals up, go 2 goals down, then come back again, try to overturn the game within that few minutes with Olympique Lyonnais playing with 10 men. I felt this is a team that would need a lot to conquer Bilbao, because mentally, you just only need a team that is really strong mentally than Manchester United, and they will just get a win against them. And playing the final in San Mamés, I strongly believe that Bilbao mentally will be tough in this game. And they will know that Old Trafford is really going to be a place where Manchester United will have to come back and do a lot of things. So they will try and finish up the game over there. They are not going to joke. And mentally, if they are tougher than United, that is all. These our players, they usually break down, especially when the pressure is at its highest peak. There are few of them that can cope the pressure. And you look at them and you begin to question sometimes their footballing intelligence and their character and what was aligned with their value, especially when we're getting them from their clubs.
That particular word you use, the footballing intelligence, Charlie, I've had to question these players for a very long period of time.
It's crazy.
Like this thing
I don't even know the words to use. I will say there's only one thing I will say, then the Kwame will come in. Manchester United will be lucky to even get a draw at San Mamés. We are that poor. We are poor, being coached poorly by a coach who doesn't know what he wants to do as at this moment in the club. I'm not saying Ruben Amorim is a bad coach. He's an excellent coach, but you can have somebody that is really intelligent, but he's not doing things the right way at the right time, which I personally believe that some of these games will open it up one time, and when it pops up like this, we might lose disgracefully in the Europa League, and we'll be wondering, how did this happen? And at San Mamés, the way our players think, reason, play under pressure, most of these things. Kwame, I'll just have to forgo that game and go and play Thursday night football at Cote Field because I want to waste my time to watch such a game.
Unfortunately, there's no convincing excuse for me not to watch. Normally during those times, you have something doing or something, but this time around, I'll be forced to watch. But Kwame, you remember when we came for the other Europa League games? We had a certain tone, like the ones were convinced.
We're bullish. We're bullish.
We are like, Leon, somewhere.
Yeah.
Sociedad, we're so sure. The other games we'll be so sure. But this particular one, in my personal chat with you,
and the reason is simple. You even forget about this season. Forget about this Manchester United team. The last time Manchester United knocked out a top 4 Spanish team, like a top 4 Spanish team, was in 2008 when we beat Barcelona, thanks to Paul Scholes.
Yeah.
We have lost to Madrid. We've lost to Barca a couple of times. We've lost to Atletico. Whenever we come up against a top 4 Spanish team in the knockout stage of any competition, it's difficult.
There's trouble.
There's always trouble. You get it. Even Sevilla, we lost to them in the semi-final of the Europa League just a few years ago.
Yes.
So the thing is, I up until this point, I was saying every other team we faced, I felt we were better than, irrespective of the state that we were in. But at this particular stage, we are facing a team that is better than us. It's a fact. They are better than us. So this is the part where you would expect everybody else to bring their A game. But now nobody has even a B game at the football club. The players don't have it. The manager doesn't have it. But you hope. It's just the word hope that some way, somehow, they do something. And the reason being this. The last stats, I was going to pull up a stats. We faced Bilbao 4 times in our history. First time we faced them was in 57, home and away. We won 1. And then we've lost twice in most recent times. So out of the 4, we've won only 1 and then we've lost 3. Historically, we don't even have a good record against this particular team. And this is not one of Spain's greatest teams, but yet look at the record. So history doesn't even favor us. What I wanted to talk about is how important it is still to get past this stage. We saw the news of Gyökeres saying that he's not really sure about moving to Manchester United and all that. What I would want to say to you and everybody else is Gyökeres wouldn't be the only one. If you have targeted other players, especially other players that other clubs are also interested in, they would also be thinking the same thing. You want Ederson. You think Manchester United is the only club that wants Ederson. There will be Champions League clubs who would also want Ederson. What is your bargaining chip? You know what I'm trying to say? So, in as much as, we think that they are better than us and we will probably lose, Manchester United has to do whatever it is possible to actually win this time. So I'm not going to be so downbeat as a couple of you have been. I feel, judging by how desperate the situation is, how important it is to get through this tie and get to the final and possibly win it. I think the club will galvanize, they'll come together, they'll put everything into it and probably get something out of this, shock the whole world and get to the final. Right now, it's surprising that Manchester United actually have to go and shock a Bilbao team. But the reason why I say this is Bilbao themselves, that's the other aspect people are also not looking at. Bilbao themselves historically don't win much. I think the first time they won a trophy was last season or last 2 seasons, a Copa del Rey. That was the first time they had won a trophy in decades.
Yes.
So they don't win. Sometimes when it gets to this stage, that does play a part. And the example I would use is we came up against the Celta Vigo team when Jose Mourinho won the Europa League. Celta Vigo were having a splendid season. Iago Aspas, I don't know what the Aspas was there at the time, but they had a very good Getty and all those players. Yes, very, very good run in the league and all that. But when it came to the crunch, that's sometimes when football heritage just teaches you a lesson that no, this is your last stop, Rich. In as much as Bilbao may be touted as favorites, they have the final at home and all that. Historically, they don't win. So some way, somehow, Manchester United can still come out through this tie. The most important thing for me is go to Bilbao and get a result. We haven't lost in the Europa League yet. That's also another positive. Not lost the game, despite all the drama and all the bad games and all the goals we concede at weird hours and going down and coming back. We have not lost.
It looks like there's a spirit. There's a spirit for us in that competition.
Not necessarily. I just tell you the teams we've met up until this point are poor. I'm not going to dress it in any way. They're just poor, so much so that whatever that we have is still good enough. But this is the real test. We can't afford to concede certain goals that we've conceded so far. We can't afford to go down.
But Kwame, not to cut you, there's something about this team I've realized. When they decide to play and get results, they do it. Look at the game against Liverpool. Look at the FA Cup game against Arsenal.
Isn't that too sporadic?
Games, like against.
Isn't that too sporadic for you to?
Because personally, that's how I feel. But on the another stance, I actually believe that we should even, if not for finance's sake and other issues attached to it, I wish we do not even play any European competition next season to properly assess this team. But we cannot afford to play due to our finances and where we find ourselves. But I really wish, realistically, that we stay out of such competitions. The coach will have ample time. You can have proper time to judge him because you can play once a week. And if you are playing once a week, you are not getting the results. You just don't know how to describe this team. You just don't know. It's confusing. More or less, the devil in the logo. We need to sack the devil against another team.
No, I think if I want to put a positive spin to this, I'm not very upbeat going into next season because of everything that I say. But I would always put a positive spin to everything that I say. I think we have hit rock bottom. Sometimes you have to hit your lowest of lows to be able to go back up again. It's even normal in life. Sometimes you have to hit your lowest of lows. And I feel Manchester United has hit the lowest of lows. Ask yourself, can it get any worse? Of course it can't get any worse. It can only get better, but by how much? That's the question for next season. By how much is it going to get better? But it has to start getting better from now. If you get to the semi-final of an European competition, you have to get to the final as Manchester United. You just have to get there. We have to find a way to get past Bilbao. I don't care how we do it. Go play a nasty 0-0, 1-1 in Bilbao. Come to Old Trafford, make it dramatic, win 4-3, 5-4. I don't care. Get through the tie and to the final. A one-off game in the final, as we saw last season under Eric Ten Hag, the FA Cup final, when nobody expected us to win. Anything can happen in the final and you can win it. But if we win the Europa League, I'm going to say this. It does not make the season a success. It does not wipe away the fact that Ruben Amorim has had a bad time. Let's not make the same mistake that we made last season as fans. We all did it. Almost all of us did it, and we regretted it. The majority. Where despite how bad the season was under Ten Hag, because he won the FA Cup, we're like, oh, let him continue. And we saw how it went. Within the Europa League, it's a cup competition. Cup competitions go in a funny way. We've seen our results so far up until this point. It's not been stellar coaches, it's not been elite. It's just been up and down. But some way, somehow, you can still shut house your way. As I said in January, I actually posted that in January, if I can remember. That some way, somehow, I just feel like we can still shut house our way to an Europa League trophy. Because I've seen this story before. I've seen this movie before. It was just done just last season. Even if Amorim does win the Europa League, I'm saying it here, he still has everything to prove that he can coach Manchester United to where we want to get to starting from next season. Everything to prove.
Everything to prove, says Kwame. Akomia, let me wrap it up with you here. I've not had your thoughts on we have just about 4 minutes to go, so just do this in 2 minutes. So I'll give you the last 2 minutes to wrap it up. I've not had your thoughts on the Cunha, Dilap, and now the resurface of Jokers only when we are able to. General thoughts on this whole issue.
Whenever I hear about the Dilap transfer, it gives me a little bit of thought about when Liverpool were down. James Pierre, that kind of signings, Andy Carroll.
Ricky Lambert or something Lambert.
That's such a good comparison. That's so good.
It's like we are at that level buying such players. But Cunha is an X factor player that could give you more than you want.
Yeah.
He's that solid. I've seen him dominate games for us. I think if you're getting Cunha, try and get somebody like Gyökeres. For Victor Osimhen, I love him as a centre forward, but I have different opinions about how he's being portrayed, especially in terms of his character in the dressing room. What is he really going to add to those players over in the dressing room? Is he going to be toxic? How he demands, especially to win games. How is he going to fit into the kind of system that we have at Manchester United?
Not to cut you.
Okay, Kwame.
It's almost like as if Cunha is like that. Imagine you add Osimhen to them. That's like double. I mean, one is enough. That's my point.
Yes, one is enough. That is it. One is enough. So that we can control the one. So get me Gyökeres. And I think Gyökeres is solid. He understands Ruben Amorim's system. He understands it. But Delap, I think if we are selling Rasmus Højlund, we should get two strikers. We should get Delap, get Osimhen or Gyökeres. Are we cursed to have two solid strikers? Because we used to have two top strikers at Manchester United, with even two top ones on the bench. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Teddy Sheringham. And we still had Andy Cole and Dwight York. At some point in time, we even have Rooney, Chicharito, Berbatov. Look at the kind of squad that we used to have. Let's even go back to when we had even Edison Cavani. When you have Edison Cavani, you have the likes of Anthony Martial.
Ronaldo, Cavani, Martial, Rashford, Greenwood.
Rashford.
That was great. How did that squad fail? I don't know. I don't even know how that squad failed.
But in that season, you had Martial and then how do you call it? Rashford,
Greenwood.
4 players were on double digits in that season.
Yes. So how did you drop off to Rasmus Højlund and sexy?
Anyway. Sometimes we have to end it. This club, when you talk, you sound like a broken record.
I'm telling you.
Nice. Thank you so much, Kwame and Akumia, for joining us on this podcast. We hope you enjoyed this very important episode. I call it important because we have to see what's going to happen in the game against Athletic Bilbao.
48 hours more.
A lot of fans are shitting in their pants. A lot of fans are shitting in their pants already. But
not sounding all down.
See, I'm predicting 1-1. 1-1. That's my prediction. 1-1.
Your prediction?
2-1 against United.
I think we'll end the game 0-0.
This team will go and keep a game.
This United team goalless. When did you last see United playing a goalless match?
I can't remember.
Against the City, didn't you play goalless? Gentlemen.
Which team? City.
The
friendly derby.
That's the friendly derby.
Okay.
In derby history.
All of you, leave my studio. Thank you very much for being a part of this podcast. My name is Kwame Jubuesiako and Michael Akobiadeveza. We'll see you after the game against Athletic Bilbao at the San Mamés. That will bring you all the updates after that. Hopefully, we'll get a better result, or we'll bring a better results back to Old Trafford. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great time. Bye.